What made your best friend's crush pay you to date her? My friend Esme looked me in the eye and begged, I need you to pretend to like me. I stared back and laughed. Alright, what TikTok trend is it this time? Usually you warn me, but this is definitely new. Esme pulled out $200 cash and slipped it into my pocket like a sketchy drug deal on the high school parking lot. Help me make Jasper jealous. Just enough for him to make a move. You're his best friend. You know him better than anyone. Well, she wasn't exactly wrong. Our parents were friends, so Jasper and I basically grew up as brothers. But honestly, I was more of his messenger boy. Every time he'd hook up with Esme at a party, then ignore her at school, I was the one who delivered his, I am just not ready for a relationship speeches. I watched her face fall so many times I could sketch it from memory. Jasper kept her on rotation like a streaming service he couldn't cancel, and she was hooked. Late night texts when bored, flirty Snapchats when drunk, then radio silence when she wanted something real. But now Esme had her own game to play. I was curious too. The first day we walked into school holding hands, Jasper nearly tripped. My phone buzzed immediately. Bro, what are you doing with Esme? I texted back. You said you weren't interested. When I showed Esme at lunch, she jumped around like a squirrel, squealing, see? I told you! After that, we went all out, touching my arm in hallways, ridiculous pet names, cute notes on desks. It was so sweet, it was sickening. But somewhere between fake dates and staged photos, something shifted. She started texting me at midnight for show, but we talk until 3 a.m. about real stuff. Music, dreams, fears we never told anyone. She'd find excuses to extend dates even when nobody was around. Even how she held my hand and tilted her head against my arm felt different, and I was starting to feel different around her too. That is, until Jasper started showing his interest in her. He accidentally appeared everywhere we went, the arcade, the Lego store, even the weird taco place Esme loved that he'd always called disgusting. He was suddenly interested, suddenly available, suddenly everything Esme had wanted him to be for 3 years. But I watched the way Esme wouldn't let go of my hand, even in front of him. How she'd lean into me and laugh while stealing my fries, acting like he wasn't there. And deep down, God, I wished that this girl really was mine. After that, Jasper went full romance movie. He delivered fancier flowers to her classes, had her favorite coffee waiting at her desk every morning, played out love songs dedicated to her at the school radio station. And soon her eyes started shifting back to him, looking for him, even when we were together. And it hurt. Hurt more than anything I'd gone through before. Like I willingly took a punch in the chest over and over. Then one night, Esme called me. He asked me to the spring dance. Finally, right? She laughed awkwardly, sounding like she wasn't happy. That's exactly what you've been waiting for, I said, hurting my own feelings. But I'd still like to see you there. Will you go, please? I couldn't say no. I went alone and saw her near the entrance with Jasper, wearing matching navy outfits that made her eyes look impossibly blue. She smiled at Jasper and said, just one dance, okay? Jasper nodded. Of course, friends can dance together, he emphasized with a smirk. Esme grabbed my hand and dragged me to the center, guiding my hands to her hips. I stayed quiet while she talked, doing everything I could to hold it together. When she leaned her head against my chest, I pulled away and shook my head. Please, no, it's done. Don't make this harder for me, Em, I said softly, and walked outside to cool my head. Jasper waved me down and stood beside me, vaping while the teachers weren't looking. You know she only used you to get to me, right? You can't let these girls get between us boys. I laughed. I was never your boy. You always left me out, brought me along when you were forced to, and made me handle your girls like a secretary. Esme wasn't the only one using me. Both of you did. I leaned against the wall and crouched down, while Jasper shrugged and walked back in. I watched them dance, swaying with him to my favorite song, watching her look back at me over his shoulder like she still couldn't decide. After an hour, Esme stepped outside and sat beside me, staring up at the sky. He spent the whole dance looking at other girls. The second he had me, he was already bored. She reached for my hand. I wasn't very happy either. I mean, at first, yeah, but with you, it was so different. Maybe this time we could be real. She closed her eyes, leaned in to kiss me. I pulled away. No, we can't. I don't want to be someone's second choice, Esme. You only want me now because Jasper disappointed you. That's not true. I watched you want him for weeks while holding my hand. I can't do this to myself anymore. I want to be someone's first choice, only choice. She cried, apologizing, telling me that she made a mistake. It killed me just how much I wanted to hug her, to say yes, but I didn't. I pulled the crumpled bills from my pocket and pressed them into her palm. Find someone who's never been your backup plan.